I was warned the details are still fluid. They could change. But you'll remember Tom Homan. He was in Trump's first term in office when he served as the acting director of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. He recently defended Trump's plan to carry out mass deportations in an interview with 60 Minutes.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together. It's not going to be a mass sweep of neighborhoods. It's not going to be building concentration camps. I've read it all. It's ridiculous.
The president-elect thinks highly of Tom Homan. We know that he has an interest of bringing him back into this incoming administration. He is likely somebody that has influence over these immigration policies that really will take it to the next level from even the previous anti-immigration agenda that we saw when the president-elect was last in the White House.
Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Give me a follow on X at @Green_Jericho, and make sure you like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and my new channel, Green's House. Now, as you saw right there, that is the newly appointed border czar, Tom Homan, and he sat down with one of those empty suits at 60 Minutes. And again, I don't like the term czar. I wish Trump would change it. I don't care who uses it. Czar, it just has an Eastern European, Russian communist feel to it. I don't like it. But he's in charge of the border. His name's Tom Homan, used to be the head of ICE. And as you can see, he's taking no bullshit. And that's good, right? That's what we need at our border. And he said to that woman who was interviewing him exactly what either one of us would have said. You or I would have said the same thing. Well, is there a way to deport families without separating them? Yeah, send them back together. Like, that didn't dawn on them? That didn't occur to them? You don't need to be ripping families apart color purple style. MIT, da, da. You've seen that movie. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't need to rip families apart color purple style. Take them all. What kind of parent would want to be separated from their children? Don't worry, there's no separation here. You're all going back. And don't worry, that child is so young, they won't remember America at all. You'll have to regale them with tales of the USA later on in life because they ain't going to remember this shit. And I don't care if they do. You are an uninvited guest. You need to go. You need to be expelled from our country. Save the bullshit. Save the sob story. I'm sure if any of them, if it's even a measurable amount, if you can even quantify the amount of people who are actually coming here for asylum, I'd love to see it because I believe my common sense, my spidey sense tells me that most of these fools are coming over here because it's a free lunch. You rang the dinner bell. You called them in to get some of these taxpayer victuals. That's why they're here. If you're fleeing asylum so bad, you would collapse on the step of the nearest country, not all the way the fuck up here in the greatest country. I know you want to be here. I know you see what we got. I know you want some. You want a taste. And you can have that taste if you contribute to our society and if you wait your punk ass in line. And as you'll see in this clip, I'm going to show you the clip that made him famous. You've seen this before where he's going back and forth with AOC. Or if you're new to my channel, I call her Loco Cortez, you motherfucker. Her womb is so polluted. She can have my fucking baby, man. Her and her ginger fiance. Who's fucking who? That's a whole nother video. But as you'll see in this clip right here, Tom Homan goes ahead and stomps a mud hole in her ass and then walks it dry. And you can see her brain making that sound, that dial-up sound. You can see her brain doing that when he drops nothing but good old-fashioned all-American common sense.
Mr. Homan, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy.
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on family for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommend a zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Homan, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
You know what she wanted to say was, Mr. Homan, we're not talking about these filthy, disgusting, stupid-ass, garbage tax-paying Americans. We're talking about these wonderful, illustrious, hardworking, family-loving brown faces. Don't you know that they're better than American citizens? Don't you know that they love their children more and they work harder than American citizens? Don't you dare equate these stupid trailer park dumbass Trump supporters to these beautiful bronze-skinned asylum seekers. Asylum. Shut up. Nobody's seeking no fucking asylum. You're going to come in here, get released into the interior of the United States until your court date 8 years from now, and you're never coming back. That's what's going to happen. Why do you think there are over 300,000 criminals, active criminals, not old ones who have lost their teeth and they've seen the error in their ways and they just want to live out their days in the sunset? No, I'm talking about active psychopaths, murderers, sexual assaulters, rapists, thieves, or all of the above. That were called, that were summoned into our country by the sloppy Joe administration and that cackling old dick sucker. And I don't mean she's old, I mean the dicks she sucks are old. They were summoned here. Asylees. Save that shit for somebody who's going to believe it, AOC. They're not asylees, they're criminals. And they should be charged with a crime because you broke into my country. I know the country's big, but you can still break into it. You broke into my country. You trespassed on my property. That's a crime. I know you don't want them to be called criminals, Alexandria, but they are. And she don't believe that anyway. Like I said in the last video, they don't believe that shit. They don't believe that they're asylum seekers. They don't believe in this democracy as it's a threat. They don't believe that he's a fascist. They don't believe this shit. They want you to believe it. This is who we want in charge of our border. Somebody who takes it seriously. This man was a police officer. He was a border agent. He's seen it. He's seen the other end of their failed policies. He's seen people starve to death and die of thirst in the desert. He's opened an 18-wheeler. This happened. He opened an 18-wheeler and found 20 dead people, one of them being a 5-year-old boy. So you can take that asylee shit and shove it up your ass, AOC. This is who we need. This is who we deserve. This is who we've been waiting for. You know who the last border czar was, don't you? Guy. She never went to the border. This dude spent decades on the border. Which would you have in charge of it? And you know if it's something that we're happy about, something that we want, well, you know who's not going to like that shit, right?
Governor Gavin Newsom talking about his plans to resist the Trump administration.
This is the first time he's spoken on camera since Donald Trump defeated Vice President Kamala Harris. ABC 10's Garj Paul-Sunga is live in the studio with what he had to say.
Yeah, Chris and Laura, he spoke for roughly 30 minutes and took questions from the moderator. Now, Newsom said tens of thousands of people were on that call, and he told them it was time to assert themselves. One political analyst says this was another chance for the governor to raise his national profile.
We're not going to shrink, and we're not going to shy or fall prey.
Governor Gavin Newsom pushing back on a virtual call Friday, talking to voters, some outside of California, about the state's effort to prepare for the Donald Trump administration.
We're going to have their back. We're going to have your back. Even if you don't live in the state of California, we're going to have your back.
Through the political action committee he launched last year, Campaign for Democracy, Newsom believes the upcoming Trump term will be more aggressive.
I expect him to be a little sharper on the follow-through, not just the rhetoric. Trump 2.0, I think, is going to be, from his perspective, aiming to be more effective.
Newsom said Trump will implement the ideologies of Project 2025.
More of that Project 2025 bullshit. But you see Gavin bang your wife Newsom going against the Trump administration. He wants to keep all the psychotic liberal far left psycho shit we have here in California. And don't laugh too soon, other 49 states, because that's who's going to be running in 2028. Make no mistake. Gavin Newsom is a far better candidate than Kamala the Ugandan nightmare. I get them mixed up. Gavin bang your wife Newsom, Kamala the Ugandan nightmare. Got it. He's a much better candidate, far better, more articulate, smart, and he's plotting. He's looking. He's been watching. He's watched her campaign. He's watched Hillary's campaign. He's looking at what works and what doesn't. He will have a streamlined, laser-focused plan in 2028. Believe that shit. This is coming to a theater near you. They need that border wide open. Do you know how many billions of dollars flow through California because of agriculture? You know who's out there in them damn fields and them orchards? You know who's out there. Those companies are giving these fools large kickbacks and donations, and they are not ready to shut off that money faucet. They want it to keep flowing and keep going. And in order to do that, they need those illegals over here to work cheap as fuck, because the less they pay them, the more that stays in their pocket. Don't think he's benevolent and he loves you and cares about California. He could care less. He would clean the bottom of his shoes on your face if he could. But if we want something, you know the usual suspects are going to be against that shit. Keep your eye on Gavin bang your wife Newsom, and keep your wife away from him, because he will bang him. Ask his best friend. But this border czar that we have, Tom Homan, let's go. Oh, and there's another one. Another clip I'm going to leave you with. That was my alarm to remind me to take the trash out. When you get my age, you got to set alarms, people. But the clip that I'm going to show you next is another part of the plan. It's not just the border and the illegals, it's the cartels. Those are the ones who are being paid to bring those people up here. The cartels are making billions of dollars from illegal immigration, illegal aliens going into America, California, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, all those border states. They make more off of that than they do drugs. What do you think when you think cartel? Drugs, right? Well, the money they make off of human trafficking dwarfs that shit. So that's the other head to this multi-headed monster, are the cartels. But Mr. Tom Homan, what's gonna happen to said cartels?
Got another message to the criminal cartels in Mexico. You smuggled enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization. And he's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done.
It's exactly what we need. We need that enthusiasm. We need that passion. We need somebody who's done chest compressions for 45 minutes on a 15-year-old kid who OD'd on that shit on his living room floor. That's who you need in charge of this. You need somebody with skin in the game. You need somebody who's been there and done that. You need somebody who's consoled other officers losing their shit, vomiting in the front yard because there's another fentanyl overdose. They just got called to a house where a 5-year-old got inside of his mommy's stash. That's who we need doing this shit. We need somebody who's going to go down there and treat that shit the way we think it should be treated. It needs to be treated in a fashion that keeps us safe. Keep your tired, you're poor, you're hungry, and your huddled masses. We got enough of those here that were born in America. Fuck you guys. Seal that border tight. I don't want you to be able to get a grease BB through that fucking border. Meet me in the comment section. Tell me what you think. You know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. I'm out.